Yes, y'all. Welcome again to another amazing episode of Sneaks, Rhymes, and Life. So, this episode is very convenient, very special to me because of our guest. So, for those that don't know in the world, it is National Best Friend Day, and no better person to bring on the episode today than my best friend, Nicholas Keeling. Nick, what's popping? What's good? How you feeling?
I didn't even know that it was best friend day. Did you flip the date just because of that? That's crazy.
No, I actually just it randomly came up today on Twitter, and then I forgot about it. I thought actually it was yesterday, and then I just looked at Facebook memory, and it did come up as today is National Best Friend Day. So we're recording. These episodes will go out in the next little bit, but yeah, we're recording on National Best Friend Day, so it's only right, kid. It's
All
only
right,
right.
it's only right. It's only right then. Yeah, that's a good look. So no, thanks for having me
Yeah,
on. This will be fun. I've been listening to a good chunk of all the podcasts, so I'm excited.
yeah.
I'm glad OC, warmed things up for me, so I
All
can
right,
come in
all
here
right.
and bless it after him. That was a great episode. So yeah, no, this will be cool. This will be cool.
Yeah, he had a lot of good episodes or things to talk about in his pod. Like just the stories were incredible, but a little less about OC, a little bit more about Nick. So, Nick, we've known each other for many years. I know you're interested in a variety of different things. Our personal interests kind of align a lot. But first, I'll shout out to my boy, Control the Narrative, Steve. He kind of runs a pro Carmelo world in his mind. He's met Carmelo. He's done a lot of amazing things. We talk about Carmelo on multiple different chats. There's a Knicks chat, there's a Blazers chat, there's a Nuggets chat. Like it's fun. But yeah, he created this shirt. So obviously, our dream is that Melo finishes his career in New York. So there's always this narrative that Melo doesn't fit in the NBA. He's not the right type of player. He's selfish, but we're creating. There's a native narrative that's created, but we're going to control it. So that's kind of the name of the game. But again, less about that, more about you. Let's get it cracking. What do you want to share? Let maybe you start. How did we even meet?
Yeah, we'll go. We'll take it back. I mean, we grew up in the same neighborhood, but different eras. Like we don't. We it's not like we were in the same grade or anything like that. So I was closer with your youngest brother. So we were crew. We were in the same classes and everything. So when I first met you, when I was like 9 or 10 years old, I was fucking scared of you, bro. Like you're a scary ass like teenager. I heard stories of bulldogging your younger brothers into the cement playing road hockey out on the street.
Sounds
So I
about
was
right.
just like staring clear of this dude. But then as the years went by, and then it started to be, oh, Lionel's not home. Yo, let's sneak into his room and check out his CDs and read Source magazine and look at all the shoes. So yeah, it quickly became an admiration, almost like a aspired to be like you, kind of deal with me and Kev. That's for sure. So yeah, just kind of spiraled from there, and finally, we got old enough to me and your brother were good enough to play basketball, you and your buddies. And let's be honest, we were better than most of you guys anyway when we were like 16, 17. So
Pretty
yeah,
well.
we kind of we held it down on the court with you and your buddies and everything. So yeah, that's kind of where it all started from. And then yeah, once I was old enough to get into the club, it was like, okay, let's go to shows. Okay,
Hmm.
let's go jersey shopping. Let's go have the night of five LeBrons. Let's go
Joe
wear
Budden.
Baron Davis jerseys as a trio out when we go out. So yeah, we got a lot of stories, and man, we've been to a ton of shows together. Crazy thing is we haven't even lived in the same city in over almost 13 years.
Yeah.
It'll be 13 years in September, but never held us back from me being the best man in your wedding, you being in my wedding party and all that. So yeah, man, we go way back, so yeah, it's all good.
Yep, that's yeah, a lot of history, and we're not done yet. So pretty amazing that we've stayed connected since for like literally you diagrammed 30 years in a couple minutes there. So pretty
Yeah,
amazing.
and me plus Swiss Chalet is the reason Winnie was
That
born the day she was born. So it's another good story. It's another good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we know, well, I know and love to share with the listeners that, you're much like me, you're into hip hop and you're into sneakers, and this is called Sneaks, Rhymes, and Life. So let's have let's talk about a couple of things from the shoe game. So I know you've been, collecting for a little bit now, and, I know you're like me and way more picky of what you're even interested in, never mind buy. So what kind of you are you working with right now? How's the collection? What are you what's your
Yeah,
your vibe today?
I find the collector word so weird because you know, I feel like I started late, but I mean, I know I've been into sneakers since like grade 4. That's the first time I remember doing something, a little wacky, just to have a pair of sneakers on my feet. But I never had the money to really stack up sneakers in the early days. It was really until like early 2000s, kind of getting out of high school. I had like a rotation of probably like 7, 8 pairs of shoes in high school. That was pretty good for like 98, 99.
Yeah.
I was relacing the fat laces every morning in the Air Forces with different colors to match my t-shirt and my hat. So that was going on for a long time. But I find the collector word weird because I don't know if I'm a collector because I wear almost everything I have. And as soon as I started to get more shoes, like I maybe had 100 shoes, and that was a lot. That was pretty good. But I would call myself a C level collector because I knew I could spit 4 people right out top of my head that I knew had 4, 5, 6, even approaching 1,000 pairs. And this is back in like 2003, 2004. You know what I mean? So I always found like the classification as a collector kind of weird because I'm like, I know some dudes that really collect.
Mhm.
I'm just in it because I love sneakers, but you know, 100, 200 pairs of shoes isn't so bad. You know what I mean? So, man, where am I right now? It's been, I haven't been adding as much as I used to. That's for sure. I mean, priorities change. Like getting married, buying a house, and having a kid within the past 2 years. That'll
That will
that'll
change
change
a
it quite
lot.
a bit, no doubt. But I think the key for me is that I'm not a massive Jordan 1 fan. Like, hey, don't get me wrong. I got like 8 pairs of Jordan 1. So I got my stack of Jordan 1s, but with all these new releases, I haven't really needed to pick up nearly as many of these. Like I got mochas because they were just dope, but like I haven't bought every pair of ones that's come out over the past 2, 3 years. Not at all. Like I've got probably OG colorways. I got the original Shatter backboards. Shout out some people to get me a pair of those.
Hmm.
But that's mostly it. So you think of the OG colorways, I got most of those. I don't have fragment ones. That one still burns because
Yep.
a bunch of people that got them at All Star in New York, and we were there. And let's just be honest, they
Didn't
forgot
get the
about us.
call. Didn't get the
They
call.
forgot about us. Let's
Yeah.
just be honest, right? So I would say collection wise, I think what sets it apart a little bit is probably my major love for foam posits. Love foam posits.
Yeah.
I know one other person. Shout out Kevin, Weird Kevin in Calgary. He has more foam posits than I do, but I don't know anybody else that has like personally that has more than I do. And it's not like I got 100 pairs, but I got like 25 probably. I don't think many people have 25 pairs of foam posits, and I got some bangers in there. I got eggplants from like
Woo!
2010, I think, 11, 12, whenever those re-releases of all those colors came out. I got eggplants, I got forest greens, I got royals from back then. I got all the all-star releases as of late, including, mirrors that I got in New York. That was dope.
Mhm.
I got big bangs and I got galaxies, so
I
definitely
was waiting
won't
for you to say
reveal,
Galaxy because that's
definitely
like,
will
yeah,
not reveal
that
my
one is
sources
crazy.
on the Galaxy cop. But yeah, so I think Air Forces, I mean, part of me, foam posits set me apart a little bit. I love Air Max, whether it's infrared 90, as we like to call it, the Ghostface 95. Other people know it as Neon, but for us, it's the Ghostface
Ghostface.
95 for sure.
Yeah.
And then and then it's probably like mid to late 90s, not just ball shoes, but I would say any of those crossover, cross training football ball shoes. Like Love Diamond Turf 2, like the zebra print joints. Like I got those at a Jimmy Jazz on Jamaica Ave in Queens. Like that's a fun
Nice.
story. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just didn't know I'd see him. I'm like, oh, really? Let me get that. And let me get that crew neck. And this was in like 2014, maybe?
Hmm.
No, shit. This was like 2011 before I moved out of Toronto. Yeah, I think that's kind of what set my collection a little bit, but I love those late 90s, mid 90s ball shoes and, Griffey's, Dion's, Bo Jackson's earlier on. Barkley's, love Barkley's.
Yeah.
I think you could argue Barkley's got, in my opinion, the third greatest signature line of all time, because I'd put Jordan first, obviously, Penny second, and then Barkley, I think.
Oh,
That's a good topic for
I
another
think
pod. Let's talk about signature series.
I think we talked about it. I think I gave you Barkley versus Griffey or Barkley versus Penny. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
smell an
tough one.
argument down the road. So we may have to have
Tough
you
one
come
for sure.
back and chop it up with that one. So all right. So do you have a favorite?
Favorite shoe of all time?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. It switches. It switches up too much. I think
Give
the
us
question is more like,
give
I
us the
think
gold medalist, the bronze medalists, and the guys that are in the conversation.
so for a long, long time, only thing that mattered to me was metallic Jordan 5, strictly based on I would have been, 11, 12 when that shoe came out, I guess. I'm just trying to remember the years properly. Couldn't afford it. No way I was getting it. Didn't even know what it was, but just saw a couple of the big cats in the neighborhood wearing that. And I'm like, damn, that's real nice. Then the next year he comes out with the 6s, and this guy's got the 6s on. I'm like, oh shit, those are fire. You know what I mean? So those for a long time were right up there. But I think as time has gone by, so they'll still always be in there, but like cement 3s are just a classic. And I'm on the team that's like a beat up pair of 3s kind of looks better than a fresh pair of 3s at times. So sometimes I really feel that way. So those would be Jordans, and then playoff 12s. I know 12s aren't everyone's favorite, but for me, 12s, absolutely love 12s. Comfort level cannot be beat. There's that double stack zoom is phenomenal. Playoffs are crazy. And then it always is going to go back to infrared 90, and I'll bring it up again, Ghostface 95. I think the question is more like, if I could only wear one shoe forever, that's more than like, what's your favorite? I feel like if you had to make that call, I think I'd probably be like one of those 2 Air Maxes, or maybe a black cement 3. I think that might be because of the versatility of those shoes. So if someone was like, you can only wear one forever, that'd be a sad day. But I'd be
very
upset.
sad, very sad. Like no choice. But I roll with black cement 4, the bread 4, whatever you want to call it. Like that's my go-to when we talk about the best, the most versatile shoe, and a shoe I would, put me in a coffin. That's the shoe that I would want to have on, right? So just give me one of my DS pairs and let's ride.
Yeah.
So I think you already kind of alluded to, stories about getting a shoe, or how you got a shoe, or the Jamaica Ave and copping some Dion. So give us a story. We always love a good sneaker story, a sneaker hunt story, and how you cop one. We got a few that we've been together on. So
yeah, no doubt.
Those are all fair game.
I think I got some decent ones. I don't have any crazy ones where it's like we drove 8 hours just for this launch and like we made it and we got it. Like I don't quite have like the DMP 611 pack story that I know a lot of dudes, that you're one of them, that a lot of guys went on a road trip. I don't quite have those ones, but I think I just got some like, funny moments, because it was always like whenever we would take a trip anywhere, whether it was, who knows, whatever trip it was, there was always 2 things on the agenda before we got there. And it was, okay, what game can we go see? So what sports team is in town and what game are we going to go see? And then it was also like, what's launching that weekend? What could we maybe go cop? The third one then became, who's doing a show? So who could we go see outside of like our home turf or whatever? I got a couple good ones. The Diamond Turf one sticks out just because it was like a trip to LA and we were in Santa Monica, and it was just like this really cool, like outdoor kind of shopping vibe. Really nice Foot Locker there. Great Nike, pretty good Foot Locker. And I knew the Diamond Turfs had just been re-released. So I was like, yeah, I'm going down there for Diamond Turfs. Like, I'm going to get these, I'm bringing them home. So I found those there. But I think that one that always sticks out to me, just because it was a wild night before, was 2008 in Chicago. We were down there, you were there, we were down there on a trip that we had won, which was sweet. It was the Friday night leading into Saturday. We knew the shoe was coming out this weekend. It was part of the non-official agenda that we're gonna line up at the Nike store and we're gonna get these shoes. Problem was, we went out that Friday night, and I think it was like 4 a.m. when we got into the hotel, and we're all like, yo, we're just gonna sleep in the lobby, and boom, we're leaving at 6. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna go up to my room. I then wake up out of nowhere like, oh snap, it's like 7:15. I slept in, I think you were calling me. So I whipped on whatever, and it was like hot. So luckily we were in like the area close to Nike. So I'm like leaving the hotel. I remember exactly what I had on. I had jeans. So it was 2008. So, I had jean shorts on, of course. Jean shorts, some kind of like big ass, I think it was just a white t-shirt. But I was running down Michigan Ave, so like that main shopping strip in Chicago. And it was like already like 32 degrees, and it was like 7:30 in the morning. It was blazing that whole weekend. But I remember it because I was running my ass down the block, hungover. Shit, you can't say hungover. I was still drunk. Let's be honest. It was one of those mornings. And I was running. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to miss out on this shoe. But I remember it because I was running down the block in white, blue, and red Spizikes, which was the first Spizike that ever came to Canada. And I'm like, These are dope. I always wanted the black with green and red. Never got those, but that was the first one that came out in our stores. So I'm just like busting down the street to get there. And I get there and there's like 4 people lined up. I'm like, fuck. So I could have been asleep still, but got a pair for my cousin too. So that was good. And on that trip, like, I think I must've got like 10 pairs of shoes. Cause I remember I sent a care package home. I mailed myself a box of shoes instead of trying to carry them all on the flight. So that was a good one. Got some nice dunks that week too. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a heavy sneaker week. So for those, that was that Jordan 6,
yeah,
the patent leather.
the mid-cut Chicago ones with the pinstripes on them.
Yeah,
I think like everybody on the trip,
baseball one, cop white, cop white and cop black. Like I know I went.
Yeah.
I don't know how many, at minimum 3 pairs that week, because had both of those, and then this patent leather Jordan 6 Olympic with the Olympic colors in the midsole. Yeah, it was crazy night, because I remember him sitting there calling you, Nick, come on, where is he? Why is he not answering?
Yeah.
And obviously not caring about my long distance roaming charges, I'm trying to get you in the line, but there was no waking you until you probably seen about 11 missed calls from me. So
man,
you made it. You got the cup.
Jumped up like,
yeah,
damn, this was like the main reason for the trip. Another good one, not really a hunt either, but we went to the original House of Hoops location in Harlem. On 125th. And that's where I got my first pair of CB Max 2s, which is one of my favorite shoes. Yep. So it was kind of just gleaming, staring at me on the wall. So that was a good cop too. That was one I'll always remember, one of my favorite shoes.
Okay. So those are some pretty dope stories. So if we flip over, and we know that we talk about a lot of things on this podcast, but obviously the other big area is hip hop. So I know you're an avid fan. You have your favorites. They're not exactly like mine, and thank God they're not, even though we're best friends. But where did your early love for hip hop start? I think that's the big question I think a lot of people would love. It's like, now, how does someone get started? Like, what is call it the song, or the artist, or what is kind of the breakthrough moment that all of a sudden that you love this genre of music?
Yeah, I think there's a transition. I think when you're just a kid hearing stuff on the radio, or like, you know, I had two older brothers, but we're all pretty different. We didn't have the exact same interests, but, you know, we were running through, you know, rap tracks, volume 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm, you know, definitely had the rap tracks tapes back in the day. But I think the big change was probably like grade 7, you know, grade 6, you know, I mean, your brother brought like the Black Sheep nonfiction tape to a little basement jam one time when we were all jamming out to you know, Black Sheep and whatnot. So those were some things, but there was two big ones for me. So like grade 7, we went one day, and I say we just like my buddies. We went one day from being, you know, we were cool, everything was fine, you know, girls this, grade 7 that. One day we were just that. The next day, everything changed because that night, one of us got doggy style. I don't remember who. I think it may have been one of my buddies, but we got the Snoop album, and we immediately transformed into like G-Funk era soldiers. So like the lingo changed, the whole attitude changed, the verbs changed, the words changed. So like people that weren't with us the next day, they were like, whoa, what just happened? So that was a big one. Like G-Funk era was huge. Warren G's first album, yo, I waxed that album. Like Regulate was real good, but like this DJ and oh man, like the Twins. So we were really into G-Funk era big time. So that was one. But then also at the same time, my older brother, he was really into jazz, but also like getting into that kind of like jazzy hip hop stuff. So like he was the first one who showed me Tribe Called Quest. He showed me the Low End Theory tape, and I'm like, all right, cool. Like this is great. Who I was really into and he loved was Diggable Planets. So we were into like Diggable Planets, like that super jazzy, like soul feel, and that whole that whole crew. But then like Tribe was a big one. But then like even after that, like I remember Lords of the Underground. Like they had a couple crazy tracks in like grade 8. So it was like a whole thing at that point. But I would say that was some of the like early moments was, you know, just what was ever popular, but like on the radio kind of stuff. But then it was Diggable Planets, Tribe, Low End Theory, Fushnikins, you know, Fushnikins tape
That's
around the
all
house. So
that time, like the
we
92,
were playing
93
that.
era.
Yeah, 91, 92, 93. That was like exactly kind of where we were. And it just kind of like went from there. You know, it just kind of, I'll be honest, a lot of the early days back then were shit in your room, man. I remember you made me in my first Mob Deep tape. You dubbed
The Infamous.
Infamous onto an album for me. I was like, all right, cool. And I listened to it. I'm like, whoa, this is intense, but it was on, you know what I mean? So that was one of the earlier moments too. But yeah, it all just kind of happened around then for sure.
All right. So yeah, I think that it's so amazing to hear, you know, kind of people's gateway albums or artists or whatever. So I think, you know, when we talk hip hop, we always love to, you know, lyricism is always a big thing. So if you were, you know, this is a fun question I'm going to ask you. So if you were in a 6-man tag match with, you know, it was based on lyricism, you needed two partners, which two MCs are you taking on a lyrical level to be your 6-man tag partners? I know I normally go Big Pun and
Like
Big
I
Al.
got three and like three
No,
versus three.
just you two, or you and two more.
Yeah. So me, because I'm dope on the mic, obviously. um, um, I mean, I'm taking Biggie all day. Um, I think Biggie's lyrics sometimes get like forgotten about a little bit just because he's this big force and he had, you know, some really big hooks and things like that. But if you really go back and listen to like Biggie's wordplay, flow, different cadences, like he brought so much like reggae cadence and everything to what he did. Like his lyrics are phenomenal, and he was built on battling dudes on the fucking street in Bed-Stuy.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's definitely in the corner because he's gonna fight somebody. You know what I mean? Like that's perfect. Um, yeah, I mean this one's really tough because I'm also thinking, is it just gonna be straight lyrics like we're at a poetry thing? No, this is like you just said, it's a 6-on-6, like it's a fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think you got to look at somebody who's really gonna fight. So I want to say Fife, because he's a great, like he so attacks it, but the thing with Fife and all the tribe, they're best when they're together. When they're solo, they're not as strong. You know what I mean? Like they need to be like, they form like Voltron with less people, you know, so
Yeah.
they're better when they're together. They never could really stand up on their own just like that. Yeah, I mean, I know you kind of said the two other bigs, but I'll probably take Big L. Like, he's just nasty. Big L was just nasty.
Ferocious.
And he'll definitely fight you. Like, he'll fight you. You know what I mean? And he's
Yeah.
got crazy freestyles that he's just done on so many shows and all that. And I think he's just got, I think there's a competitive spirit about Big L as well. Like, so I almost think it'd be cool. Like, you got like Big L, who's small in stature, and then Biggie, who's a monster.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I'm the middle of the Oreo. It'll be straight.
Yeah, I think when I had an episode not too long ago about Big L, because it was his birthday a few weeks back, and geez, you know, it's crazy that you know, he left us, you know, like in his early 20s, and you know, this is almost 25 years later since he's gone, but it was like him and a bunch of friends like went to an autograph signing for Lord Finesse at some record store, and all the guys thought it was cool that they should just spit for Lord Finesse and see, you know, see if someone could get put on. Well, everyone went first, and Finesse thought, okay, and then Big L went, and he was like, whoa, okay, I'm not going anywhere unless you're with me. Every freestyle, every battle, everything in the park, every jam, like I am now your mentor, like from one record store spit session. So pretty amazing.
That's part of the interesting thing about DITC, because they were like, it's not like they were just crew same age from like Wu-Tang. They were all like around the same kind of thing. Maybe RZA was a little older and Genius or whatever, but DITC is all over the place. You got like the Young Bucks, like Fat Joe and Big L, and OC was kind of in the middle, but like Diamond D and Lord Finesse, they were like 30 something already when DITC just kind of got going. So really interesting crew. I think it would be interesting to dig into them more to know more about it. You know what I mean? Because they don't get the pub that so many other groups do. They don't even get like the publicity of like a boot camp. And shit, I don't want to go on to other topics, but I'll probably take DITC over boot camp personally. But that could be a real stickler. I don't know.
That can, you know, ruffle some people's feelings. You know, but that's a very comparable. You know, we talk about verses or whatever, and I don't think, you know, the mainstream people would love to see that, but the heads would come out in droves to see a DITC, like, you know, I think we've heard of the same thing, you know, DITC versus boot camp, or like, you know, the Diplomats against like, oh, I don't know, the Locks. Like if you guys
Dipset Locks,
you guys get, you know, you get the guy, like,
Dipset Rough Rider or something like that.
Something like that. So yeah, I think those conversations are always pretty interesting. So, you know, you can't have a hip hop conversation without talking about top 10 or top 5 MCs. So what does that top 5 list look like for you? I think everyone's is a little bit different, but no one's is really wrong. So
yeah, mine's not like earth shattering or everything like that. And I think like most people, there's usually a pretty locked in 4, but that 5th spot can kind of waver a little bit. I think I still always put Nas at the top, and I think it's mostly due to, you know, the longevity, but I don't know, I'm just such a huge Biggie fan. Like I hear his voice, I hear certain songs, and it's just too much. So I'm going to probably start staking my claim and just saying, hey, I know he doesn't have the material, doesn't have the catalog, and but while he was here, it was nasty. So I'm a huge Biggie fan. So I think Biggie's probably my number 1. Nas is definitely my number 2. For a long time, I was locked in with Jay-Z as, you know, in there, but he's probably not for me anymore. And this is going to really upset some people. Out of all the albums that he has, and I'm a fan still, like I've heard some chats where people really don't like Jay-Z at all. And I'm like, I'm not saying that. He's pretty nasty, but of all the albums that don't hold up for me anymore, and me and you talk a lot about what's the greatest albums you skip, I'm going to be honest, Reasonable Doubt's not my favorite Jay-Z album anymore. And it was just forever. And I almost think it was just through like blind acceptance. It has to be. Like, I think I probably like Blackout, the Black Album better. And
Same.
and Volume 1, like, I know it's got a couple holes in it. It's got a couple spots that aren't great, but there's like 3, 4, 5 songs on that album that are just bananas, like absolutely bananas.
Like some of the best he's got in his catalog.
Yeah, like the more I go back to Reasonable Doubt, the more I'm like, I could skip this song and I could skip this song. So Jay-Z's probably not up there for me. Who else is up there? Redman is. Love Redman. I remember I was on the school bus going to like shop class in like grade 8. And my buddy had a tape and he was playing it, and it wasn't even Muddy Waters. Like, it wasn't even Muddy Waters yet.